Hey everyone, this is Eric at Galloway Precision. I'm going to do a quick install of the Sigurd trigger we offer for the LCP MAX. This is the same firearm internally as the LCP2, the difference being how this comes apart. It does have one pin and the chassis rotates out, and the sear and hammer are contained in the chassis. It's actually a much better design. It is just a little different on that one part. The rest of the install is exactly the same. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and that out. Okay, slide off. Won't be messing with that right now. And I'm going to pop this blade loose. While I have this all apart. Okay. Alright. This being a new setup, Ruger's kind of gone to, there's just the one pin. The Ruger 5.7 is very similar to it in that aspect. To get it apart, we're going to knock that loose, pop this anchor pin out of the bottom, and now we can just rotate this up. See how this will come straight up. This stays sort of fixed for the most part, and you can just sort of rotate everything around it and out. Okay, get rid of that. We won't be reusing that piece. Go ahead and take the trigger bar loose. On these Ruger guns, if you're not familiar with them, this trigger return spring is what keeps tension on that, by the way, the locking pin. So that will not budge until you have that out. Get that aside. Take our new trigger, slide it in place. Okay. Move that around a little, get it set. Now your trigger return spring has a loop on it. You're going to want to kind of face that towards that locking pin hole, so the spring is going to look kind of like that. Alright, if it doesn't, you need to look at it again, right? Because something's out of line. Take your needle nose, you can just sort of, well, if I can get this lined up. Not going to cooperate. Get that pin lined up. Okay. Okay. And seated. That popped out, no big deal. You see how this seats? There's a small round circle that's cut in there. Sit that head in there just like that. Push the lower leg in, push the top leg in. You're all set. Now when you're reassembling this side, I always find it kind of be useful. You'll see how this is sitting. There is a gap here that's normal. You see this little pre-travel knot that is supposed to do that. To drop of oil there, drop of oil on the back side, and maybe a couple drops through there. That'll keep everything good and lubed. This is just a test gun, so we're not gonna put any extra effort into it. All right. This, like I said earlier, this is your big difference between the MAX and the LCP2. Your hammer and sear are contained together in a chassis rather than the sear being in it. The grip frame, kind of like the older LCPs are, which had they had a hammer catch, not a sear, but you get the idea. It's a very similar setup that this one does not have, which is nice. Again, all right. So we're gonna put this little round hook right there, squeeze it shut. That's it. Okay, that's done. On the other versions, we have to kind of set the sear forward. We don't have to do that on this one. All right. So we're gonna put this on there. If you don't have a 180-degree punch or a pick rather, you can do this with a small flathead or a bent any of them work. The 180 degree is just a lot easier. But I've had people ask, and yeah, you can't do it that way. So, all right. To reassemble this part of it, it's just like normal field stripping. A drop of oil on each side of the rails, a drop on the round stripper, and a drop on the locking block connection point on the barrel lug will always do you well. All right. All right, that's all there is to it. Now you have a nice pre-travel limit. All the factory springs are left in the gun, so you get the reliability of the factory trigger return spring without any wonky reset issues that happen when you start lightening that. Too much, there's a fine line. And a hammer spring on a single action isn't going to change things a whole lot. We've had a lot of requests for it. We might do something along those lines soon. I don't know yet, but you guys seem to want it, so we'll do some testing and see what we come up with. Anyway, that is the overall install. It's pretty straightforward, pretty quick if you have the right tools and are okay with doing this. It's not real major. Anyway, I hope that helps you guys with the process. As always, be safe, be accurate, and God bless.